I'll create an opinion or some kind of a point of view based on my own life, my own experience as a parent, my own experience as a person in the industry, and then we go from there.
You know, I have this huge platform on The View, and I just started thinking about giving voice to the voiceless.
Joy Behar never expected to ignite a full-blown conflict on live television, especially not with a longtime colleague like Sunny Hostin. However, in an unexpected turn of events, she found herself caught in a confrontation with Sunny, facing millions of viewers, as she fired back with an intensity few had ever seen from her. This heated exchange was triggered by an unlikely catalyst: Sunny's personal family history. Once known for her unyielding stance on systemic racism, Sunny was thrust into the center of a public controversy after a stunning genealogical discovery revealed that her third great-grandfather had been a slaveholder. The implications alone would have been enough to make headlines. But what truly transformed the situation into a full-blown crisis was the explosive moment when Sunny, visibly distressed, appeared to blame Joy for the legal storm brewing around her. Joy's immediate, biting response quickly became an online sensation. What began as a typical segment on The View spiraled into chaos. For months, Sunny had been a vocal critic of America's racial history, frequently calling out public figures for downplaying the nation's past injustices. She was particularly outspoken against those who defended Confederate monuments or resisted acknowledging the lingering effects of slavery. Yet on a shocking episode of the PBS show, Finding Your Roots, Sunny was confronted with a twist she hadn't anticipated. Researchers uncovered that one branch of her ancestry was tied to a slaveholder in the 1800s. The shock on her face was immediate, and viewers were equally taken aback by her response. Instead of launching into a typical condemnation, Sunny briefly dismissed it, framing it as a mere product of its time. While some fans sympathized, recognizing that such genealogical revelations can stir complex emotions, others were quick to criticize her apparent nonchalance. What made this situation particularly striking was that the backlash didn't only come from conservative circles. Many of Sunny's longtime supporters, who admired her unapologetic moral stance, felt uncomfortable with how she seemed to downplay the gravity of her ancestors' actions. However, the fallout would only intensify when Fox News' Greg Gutfeld dedicated a harsh segment to Sunny, accusing her of hypocrisy and moral posturing. Social media exploded with viral posts questioning how Sunny, who had never hesitated to criticize others, could so casually treat her own family's link to slavery. Just days later, another bombshell emerged. Melania Trump was reportedly filing a $100 million lawsuit, alleging that damaging and defamatory statements had been made about her. This new development quickly rivaled Sunny's genealogical controversy, and the media coverage intertwined the two stories. Gutfeld, ever the provocateur, linked them together, framing Melania as someone boldly taking a stand while Sunny was accused of sidestepping responsibility for her family's dark legacy. The commentary sparked an avalanche of debates, thrusting Sunny into the center of a media frenzy. Behind the scenes at The View, tensions ran high. Producers grew concerned that the combination of Sunny's genealogy scandal and Melania's lawsuit might alienate viewers or overshadow other important topics. Rumors began to circulate that advertisers were becoming uneasy, fearing the controversy might taint the show's image. These intertwined issues sparked a broader conversation about how far talk show hosts should delve into controversial or personal matters. The tension came to a head when Sunny publicly suggested that Joy Behar's jokes, particularly those that poked fun at everything from genealogical discoveries to Sunny's public criticism of various political figures, somehow escalated the situation to the point where Melania Trump's lawsuit came into play. While she didn't directly blame Joy, the implication was clear enough to set alarm bells ringing in the production room. It wasn't long before Joy, a champion of unfiltered dialogue, took the opportunity to speak her mind in an unscripted moment that would go down in The View history. The exchange started innocuously enough with a segment about public figures facing legal battles, but it took a dramatic turn when Sunny, seemingly frustrated, made a veiled reference to how certain co-hosts turning her gaze to Joy had pushed a narrative so hard that it practically handed ammunition to people like Melania Trump, who were now suing for massive damages. Joy's eyebrows raised. The audience shifted in their seats, and the tension in the room was palpable. Joy, ever the master of holding back her frustration, calmly asked Sunny to clarify. Sunny, perhaps feeling emboldened by her own sense of righteousness, leaned in and delivered the punch. "If we hadn't pushed so far with the speculation about certain people," she said, "I doubt we'd be facing these $100 million lawsuits." The studio fell into a stunned silence. Joy, known for her sharp wit rather than biting retorts, paused, took a breath, and then unleashed a response that would soon go viral. First, she reminded Sunny of how often The View had provided a platform for her to denounce systemic racism and the ongoing impacts of slavery. Then, she expertly dissected the contradiction. How could Sunny, who so often criticized others, brush aside the undeniable truth of her own family's connection to slavery? How could she, in turn, blame Joy for the ensuing media frenzy, when it was Sunny's own reaction on national television that had set the wheels of controversy in motion? And most importantly, why was Sunny attempting to drag Joy into the narrative surrounding Melania Trump's lawsuit, as though their internal commentary had anything to do with the former First Lady's legal actions? In that moment, Joy turned the tables, dismantling Sunny's attempt to shift the blame. Sunny, who had always prided herself on being unflappable, now looked visibly shaken by the force of Joy's rebuttal. Joy continued to press, calling attention to how Sunny had once criticized others for refusing to acknowledge their role in perpetuating systems of inequality, and now seemed reluctant to accept responsibility for her own family's role in such a painful chapter of history. The tension in the room was electric, and it was clear that something much deeper was at play. Sunny's eyes darted nervously as she searched for a counterpoint, while the live studio audience murmured in disbelief. Clips of the confrontation quickly went viral, circulating across social media and fueling the fire of public opinion. Hashtags flooded the internet, with some applauding Joy for calling out what they saw as Sunny's hypocrisy, while others criticized her for publicly humiliating a colleague who was clearly struggling with a deeply personal issue. The debate extended beyond social media, with talk radio hosts devoting entire segments to whether the two co-hosts could repair their relationship, or if this dramatic clash marked the beginning of an irreparable rift. Meanwhile, ABC executives convened behind closed doors, concerned that the fallout from this exchange could undermine the delicate balance of personalities that The View had so carefully curated over the years. Yet, despite the tension, this confrontation took the conversation to an entirely new level. What had once been a tangled web of separate issues, Sunny's genealogical discovery, Gutfeld's criticism, and Melania Trump's lawsuit, now blended into a single narrative about accountability, moral consistency, and the boundaries of humor in a politically charged world. Joy's response resonated with viewers who felt that, for the first time, Sunny had been confronted with her own blind spots. While Sunny had long demanded accountability from others regarding the country's legacy of racism, she seemed unwilling to apply the same standards to her own ancestry. By connecting Joy's humor to the lawsuit and thus dragging her into the controversy, Sunny had unwittingly triggered the very co-host who was least likely to pull punches. As the days went by, the tension between Joy and Sunny remained palpable. The audience watched, wondering whether the two would address their conflict openly or pretend it never happened. The fallout generated a flood of media think pieces. Some hailed Joy's forthrightness in calling out Sunny's selective moral outrage, while others felt that Joy's response bordered on cruelty, blindsiding a colleague who was already grappling with personal turmoil. In the end, however, both women had, in their own way, exposed the complexities that arise when personal history intersects with public activism. The media frenzy only intensified when Greg Gutfeld once again weighed in, gleefully recounting the moment when Joy dismantled Sunny's defense. Conservative commentators speculated that Sunny would have to issue a public apology or face serious internal repercussions at The View. Meanwhile, ABC's public relations team issued a statement emphasizing that The View remained a platform for open, respectful discussions among co-hosts with differing views. But behind the scenes, the network's producers were undoubtedly scrambling to manage the fallout, particularly with the sensitive nature of Melania Trump's lawsuit hanging over the show. The drama continued to play out across social media, with memes, viral clips, and hashtags reflecting the ongoing public fascination with the conflict. Some users found dark humor in the situation, mocking both Joy's fierce demeanor and Sunny's stunned silence, while others continued to debate the ethics of the confrontation.